Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Book 6, Unit 5, Vocabulary Presentation Part 2. Without any further delay, let's get started. So we're going to start off with a bit of a pronunciation practice. So first off, big pronunciation and word form practice, and I'll also give you an example for each sentence. So for example, number 1, vigorous, vigorous, vigorous. What word form? That's right, adjective. For example, doctors recommend 75 to 100 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. Number 2, impulsive, impulsive, impulsive. Word form, adjective. Example, some people make late night impulsive Amazon purchases. Example, some people make impulsive late night Amazon purchases. Number 3, fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Word form, adjective. I find international politics fascinating. I find international politics fascinating. 4, ultimately, ultimately, ultimately. Word form, adverb, ly. Example, ultimately, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Ultimately, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. 5, insufferable, insufferable, insufferable. Word form, adjective. For example, some people are insufferable. You can't stand to be around them. Insufferable. Some people are insufferable. You can't stand to be around them. Number 6, genuinely, genuinely, genuinely. Adverb. Example, I genuinely care about my students and want them to succeed. I genuinely care about my students and want them to succeed. Number 7, awesome, awesome, awesome. Adjective. Example, I had an awesome weekend camping last weekend. I had an awesome time camping last weekend. For 8, immeasurably, immeasurably, immeasurably. Adverb, adverb. For example, the universe is immeasurably vast. Example, the universe is immeasurably vast. Number 9, punctual, punctual, punctual. Adjective. Example, it is important to be punctual at university. It is important to be punctual at university. Number 10, disparate, disparate, disparate. Adjective. This, for example, Our solar system is made up of a disparate collection of planets. Again, our solar system is made up of a disparate collection of planets. 11. Presumptuous. Presumptuous. Adjective. Example, it is presumptuous to assume things can go back to the way they were. It is presumptuous to assume things can go back to the way they were. Number 12, cold. 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 Adjectives. Example, his teammates gave him cold looks after he missed the goal. His teammates gave him cold looks after he missed the goal. And as we move along, I'd like you to think about the word forms you're going to be using. So you're going to complete the gaps of each vocab slide using the correct form of vocabulary word. And then asking yourself, what part of speech is it? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? An adjective? Or an adverb? So, first up, vigorous. Adjective, I worked out vigorously last night. I ran really hard for 1 hour. I worked out vigorously last night. I ran really hard for 1 hour. Is that an adjective or an adverb? That's right, it is an adverb. Ly. Ly. Another example would be using the adjective form vigorous. 75 to 100 minutes of vigorous exercise per week is needed to stay active. 75 to 100 minutes of vigorous exercise per week is needed to stay active. Impulsive. Adjective, Anne never thinks first. She does whatever comes to her mind. She is too impulsive. That's right, impulsive. Do we use a different word form or do we use the same? impulsive. It must be impulsive, the adjective form. Another example might be Anne dyed her hair red in a sudden impulse to look different. Anne dyed her hair red in a sudden impulse to look different from everyone else. We also have the adverb form impulsively. Impulsively. Fascinating. Adjective, my English teacher, Dave, has traveled to more than 50 countries. Can you believe that? He must have a lot of something stories to tell. What kind of stories? That's right, fascinating stories. My English teacher Dave has traveled to more than 50 countries. Can you believe that? He must have a lot of fascinating stories to tell. Ultimately. Adverb, teacher, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is always hope. These troubles will pass. I hope you're right on it. So again, what word do we use to fill in the blank? That's right, ultimately. Ultimately is the word form. So again, teacher, ultimately, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is always hope. These troubles will pass, and I hope you're right on it. Insufferable. Insufferable. Adjective. I hope you never have a difficult boss. My sister, Aisha, told me a horrible story about her boss. The man was truly horrible. That's right, we use the adjective form insufferable. I hope you never have a difficult boss. My sister told me about a horrible story about her insufferable boss. That man was truly horrible. Another example, some people are insufferable. You just can't stand to be around them. We also have the adverb insufferably. Insufferably. Right now in Saudi Arabia, it is insufferably hot. Genuinely. Adverb, it's blank, difficult to go through life without the help of your friends. Make sure they know that you will be there for them. So what word form do we use? We know there's two word forms. We have genuinely, the adverb, and genuinely, adjective. So the answer must be genuinely. It's genuinely difficult to go through life without the help of your friends. Make sure they know that you will be there for them. Another example, using the adverb genuinely, learning a new language can be genuinely hard. Learning a new language can be genuinely hard. Awesome. Adjective, the landscape views, the wonderful colors of the sunsets and sunrises of nature are also beautiful. There are many beautiful places in the world. I hope that we all have more experiences appreciating this awesome beauty. Again, the landscape views, the wonderful colors of sunsets and the sunrises of nature are also beautiful. There are so many beautiful places in the world. I hope that we all have more experiences appreciating this awesome beauty. And another example would be, for example, Fatma climbed Mount Everest. It was an awesome experience. Fatma climbed Mount Everest. It was an awesome experience. Can we think of any other word forms for awesome? That's right, we have awesomely, adverb, awe, the verb, and again, awe or in awe in the noun form. Immeasurably, adverb. My love for you is full. My respect for you is immense. Your ageless, timeless lace and fineness, your beauty and elegance, your rhapsody comedy, your symphony and play, your every love song ever written. Honey, what do you see in me? Lyrics to You're in My Heart by Rod Stewart. Again, this is created by another teacher, not myself. So, my love for you is, what word do we use? Do we use immeasurably? No, as we can see, it ends in BLE. So the answer must be immeasurable. Immeasurable. My love for you is immeasurable. And what word form is immeasurable? Correct. It is an adjective. Immeasurable is an adjective. Punctual. Adjective. You need to be blank turkey. Next time you're late, I'm gonna wring your neck. Again, this is a joke uttered by the other teacher. Punctual. Adjective. You need to be blank turkey. Next time you're gonna be late, I'm gonna wring your neck. So what's the answer? Correct. It is, you need to be punctual. You need to be punctual, turkey. Again, it's the adjective form. And are there any other word forms for punctual? That's right. We have the adverb punctually. And we also have the noun punctuality. Punctuality, the quality of being on time. Disparate. Adjective. No matter how different or things are, they also share similarities. And this is so interesting, right? No matter how different or blank things are, they also share similarities. And this is so interesting, right? So what word form do we use? There are many for disparate. So yes, the answer is disparate adjective. No matter how different or disparate things are, they also share similarities. And the other word form that you could have used, you could also use, not for this example, but in general, disparately. Disparately is the word form. Presumptuous. Presumptuous. Adjective. You don't know what it is like to be another person. The only thing you know is your reality, your life, and your experiences. Never ever be. What's the answer? That's right. Never ever be presumptuous. Presumptuous in the adjective form. What other word forms can we think of? That's right, we have the adverb presumptuously. Presumptuously. We also have the verb presume. Presume. And the noun presumption. Presumption. Cold. Adjective. Kids can be so mean to each other. I don't understand how they can be so blank and mean. Again, kids can be so mean to each other. I don't understand how they can be so, what's the answer? Cold, right, in the adjective form. I don't understand how they can be so cold and mean. Here, the kids are being cold to this child here in the picture. And this brings us to the second round of vocabulary practice. Starting off with number 1, emphatic. Emphatic. Adjective. Example. The fans were emphatic. They wanted more goals. The fans were emphatic. They wanted more goals. Number 2, radically. 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 Adverb. Example. We need to radically change our ways of thinking. We need to radically change our ways of thinking. Number 3, tolerable. 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 Adjective. Example. We should all be tolerable of other cultures. We should all be tolerable of other cultures. Number 4, simultaneously. Simultaneously. Again, simultaneously. 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 Adverb. My brother and I simultaneously reached for the last bottle of water. My brother and I simultaneously reached for the last bottle of water. Number 5, inevitably. 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 Adverb. Inevitably, we all die one day. Inevitably, we all die one day. Number 6, worrisome. worrisome, worrisome. Adjective, that man looks worrisome. He looks worried. He looks worrisome. Number 7, to know what you're getting yourself into. 7, to know what you're getting yourself into. To know what you're getting yourself into. Example, if you start smoking, you better know what you're getting yourself into. Smoking can kill you. Number 8, to light a fire under someone. To light a fire under someone. To light a fire under someone. For example, if you light a fire under someone, they have to react quickly. If you light a fire under someone, they have to react quickly. Number 9, longevity. 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 For example, if you last in a job for 20 years, then you have great longevity. Again, if you last in a job for 20 years, then you have shown you have great longevity. You can last for a long time. Emphatic. Adjective. Mike said, no onions. I am telling you the truth. I hate onions. If you put onions in my food, I will hate you forever. Ali replied, okay, okay, you don't have to be so about it. Again, Ali replied, okay, okay, you don't have to be so, that's right, emphatic. Adjective. Okay, okay, you don't have to be so emphatic about it. So, for example, the answer is an emphatic no. We can't play cahoots right now. The answer is an emphatic no. We can't play cahoots right now. What are the other word forms of emphatic? What are the other word forms? That's right, we have the noun, emphasize, emphasis, emphasis. We have the adverb, emphatically, emphatically, and the verb emphasize, emphasize. So the 4 word forms are emphatic, adjective, emphasis, noun, emphatically, adverb, and emphasize, verb. Radically, adverb. Dieting doesn't make you fat, it makes you skinny. Is that what you think? But this book here tells you diets make you fat. That's the blank, different idea of Dr. Raphael Bolio. So again, diets make you fat. That's the word. That's the radically different idea. Well, we could have radically or radical. That's the radical idea, or radically. So we could use the adverb or the adjective form radical for this blank here. Tolerable. Adjective. My sister told me to never blank hate cheating, disrespect, jealousy, or abuse in a relationship, but never listen to my sister, so why start now? So again, my sister told me to never blank cheating, disrespect, jealousy, or abuse in a relationship. What's the answer? That's right, it's not tolerable. It is tolerate. Never tolerate. T-O-L-E-R-A-T-E. Tolerate. What form is that? That's right, verb. Another example. What are the other word forms for tolerable? That's right, we have the verb tolerate, just like we just said. We have the adjective tolerable. We have the noun toleration, toleration. So again, the word forms are adjective tolerable, verb tolerate, noun toleration. Simultaneously, adverb. I can do many things, blank, that's my superpower. I can count backwards from 100, tie my shoes and chew gum at the same time. Can you do different things at the same time? If you can do things at the same time, you're doing them simultaneously. So what's the answer here? I can do many things. She's talking about how she does it, so the answer would be adverb. It describes how she does things. She does things, more than one thing at the same time. So I can do many things simultaneously. Simultaneously. Are there any word forms? That's right, there are. Drop off the ly, and we have the adjective simultaneous. Simultaneous. Inevitably, adverb. Death and taxes are blankable. Do you agree? Death and taxes are able. Do you agree? So what word form? Well, it can't be inevitably the adverb because we don't have an ly and it ends in avl. That means it must be, that's right, it is the adjective form, inevitable. inevitable, inevitable. Worrisome, adjective. Married couples always fight about money, and this is blank. I'm never going to fight with my wife over money because I'm never getting married. Great solution, right? Can married couples always fight about money, and this is, that's right, worrisome. Worrisome, adjective, this is worrisome. Fighting about money is worrisome. So, and are there any other word forms for we can derive from worrisome? That's right, there is the secondary adjective, worried. Worried. We have the adverb, worrisomely. Worrisomely. The verb, to worry. To worry. And the noun, a worry. A worry. To know what you're getting yourself into. Phrasal verb. Are you sure you want to start smoking? Smoking is one of the most addictive habits we know of. 70% of smokers wish they'd never started. Are you sure that you, what's the answer? Nice and easy. Are you sure that you know what you're getting yourself into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Know what you're getting yourself into. To light a fire under someone. Idiom, use a verb. And for example, I just heard teacher Mike talking to teacher Mark. He said, I am going blank, 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 blank under Khalid's ass today. He needs to study harder or he's going to fail. Just heard Mike talking to the teacher Mark. He said, I'm going to light a fire under butt today. He needs to work hard to fail. So what's the answer? I'm going to light a fire under Khalid today. Longevity, noun. Blank has its place, but I worry more about quality of life. What good is living a long life if you have no family, no partner, bad health, and are always in pain? How long a life do you want to live, Samira? So if we think back to the previous video, we should know that there aren't any other word forms. It's just longevity. So the answer is longevity has its place, but I worry more about quality of life. And this brings us to the listening 1 vocabulary pronunciation practice. First off, delve into. Number 1, delve into. Delve into. For example, I need to delve into the research to find an answer. I need to delve into the research to find an answer. Number 2, breakthroughs. Breakthroughs. Noun. Example, scientific breakthroughs occur almost daily in different fields of research. Scientific breakthroughs occur almost daily in different fields of research. Number 3, vigorous. 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 Adjective, I recommend 75 to 100 minutes of vigorous exercise every week. I recommend 75 to 100 minutes of vigorous exercise every week. Number 4, stick to it. Stick to it. Verb, example, if you stick to something, over time you will improve. If you stick to something, over time you will improve. Number 5, conscientious. 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 Adjective, example, we should be conscientious of other people's feelings. Example, we should be conscientious of other people's feelings. Number 6, persistent. 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 Adjective, be persistent. Don't give up. Be persistent. Don't give up. Number 7, overwhelmed. 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 Adjective, example, don't feel too overwhelmed by university. It will get easier. Example, don't feel too overwhelmed by university. It will get easier. Number 8, decades. 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 Noun. Example, the building is collapsing. It hasn't been repaired in decades. The building is collapsing. It hasn't been repaired in decades. Number 9, nose to the grindstone. Nose to the grindstone. Nose to the grindstone. For example, at exam time, you should put your nose to the grindstone and study hard. At exam time, you should put your nose to the grindstone and study hard. 10, prudent. 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 Adjective, try to be prudent with your money and save it. Try to be prudent with your money and save it. 11, work yourself to death. Work yourself to death. Work yourself to death. Example, don't work yourself to death. Remember to take a break. Example, don't work yourself to death. Remember to take a break. 12, have thrived. Have thrived. have thrived. Verb, thrived. Example, the plants have thrived since being put in the sunlight. The plants have thrived since being put in the sunlight. To delve into, verb. Do you want to study in the United States? You can learn a lot when you, that's right, delve into it. Do you want to study in the United States? You can learn a lot when you delve into it. First, research the school you're interested in. What majors does that school offer? How many professors are there in that department? How big is the school? How big is the city? Next, research the city and the state. There is lots of information to delve into when you're choosing where you want to study. Breakthroughs. Noun. We are waiting for medical, that's right, medical noun breakthroughs. We are waiting for medical breakthroughs on coronavirus right now. The hope is that there will be tests to know who has had it, and more importantly, a vaccine to stop the spread of this disease. So we are waiting for medical breakthroughs on the coronavirus right now. Are there any other word forms? That's right. Breakthrough can be used as a verb. For example, the man is breaking through the wall. Vigorous. Adjective, I worked out this last night. I ran really hard for 1 hour. Well, what can we see? We see ly, so it can't be the adjective form. It must be the adverb vigorously. Vigorously, adverb, ly. And can we think of any of the word forms? That's right, we have the verb invigorate, we have the adverb vigorously, and the adjective vigorous. To stick with it, verb. Life can be difficult. Nothing is promised to you. Don't give up. Stick to it. Stick to it. Face your problems if you're going through hell and keep going. So if you stick to something, you don't give up. Stick to it. You face your problems, and if you're going through hell, keep going. Don't stop. Conscientious. Adjective. Don't only think about yourself. Be blank of others. Do right by others and by yourself. Are there any word forms we can use here? No, we are only focusing on this one for now. That's right. Be conscientious of others. Do right by others and by yourself. Persistent. Adjective, keep at it. Keep trying. Don't give up. Be, and remember, whenever we see a be form, we normally, in these examples, we normally see what kind of word? That's right, we normally see, followed by the be word, we see an adjective. So keep at it, keep trying, don't give up, be persistent. Be persistent. Are there any other word forms? Yes, we have persistently, persistently, adverb. We have the verb persist, persist, and there is the noun persistence. The noun persistence. Overwhelmed. Adjective. This vocabulary in this unit makes me feel very sad. It makes me feel like I just can't do it. This vocabulary is so... It's not this form. Does overwhelmed end in ing? No, it doesn't. So Is there another adjectival form of overwhelmed? Yes, there is. Overwhelming. This vocabulary is so overwhelming. So the two adjective forms are overwhelmed and overwhelming. Decades. Noun. Fashion styles change every decade or so. Sometimes ugly, old styles even come back. Again, fashion styles change every decade or so. Sometimes ugly, old styles even come back. And are there any word forms? No, that's right. Decades is the plural, and decade we have used in this sentence is the singular. To have someone's nose to the grindstone. To have someone's nose to the grindstone. I'm sick of homework, English, and PYD. Why do we always have to have our nose to the grindstone? The summer break needs to start right now, I tell you. So again, what's the answer? Why do we always have to have our nose to the grindstone? Prudent. Adjective. I never locked my doors when I lived in Mexico. Well, that all changed after I got robbed. Now I am much more, that's right, prudent. I never locked my doors when I lived in Mexico. Well, that changed after I got robbed. Now I am much more prudent. Adjective. To work yourself to death. Idiom. To work yourself to death. It's an idiom. For example, war is hell. Someone said, well, in World War II, being a Japanese prisoner of war was a horrible situation. The Japanese really would work prisoners to death at that time. Japanese really would work prisoners to death at the time. If your teacher gives you too much homework, you can joke that you're being worked to death. Again, if your teacher gives you too much homework, you can joke that you're being worked to death. To have thrived. To have thrived. Verb. I know you won't believe this, but you have grown so much. You've become great students. You really have thrived. Verb. You really have thrived this year in the PYD, except for Ali. You should all be very proud of yourselves. You really have thrived this year in the PYD, except for Ali. You really should all be proud of yourselves. And this brings us to the final pronunciation practice. So let's start. Number 1, to have been tugging at you. To have been tugging at you. To have been tugging at you. Verbal expression. For example, I have the need to exercise tugging at me. I have the need to exercise tugging at me. Number 2, to set the parameters. To set the parameters. To set the parameters. Example, it is important to set parameters in any relationship. It is important to set parameters in any relationship. Number 3, to catch on. To catch on. To catch on. Example, verbal expression, verb expression. Example, please turn your phones off. We don't want rude behavior catching on. Please turn your phones off. We don't want rude behavior catching on. Number 4, to never look back. To never look back. To never look back. Example, Some people never look back on life with regrets. Example, some people never look back on life with regrets. Number 5, persistent, persistent, persistent. Adjective. Example, be persistent when learning something new. Example, be persistent when learning something new. Number 6, to be set in one's ways. To be set in one's ways. To be set in one's ways. For example, old people are usually quite set in their ways and find it hard to change their behavior. Old people are usually quite set in their ways and find it hard to change their behavior. Number 7, to put up with. To put up with. To put up with. Example, I don't want to put up with you anymore. I'm leaving. I don't want to put up with you anymore. I'm leaving. 8, to lose it. To lose it. Example, again, this is a verb expression. Example, stay calm with your teacher and don't lose it. Stay calm with your teacher and don't lose it. Number 9, ordeal. 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 For example, a long flight can be an ordeal. A long flight with screaming babies can be an ordeal. Number 10, to break one's heart. To break one's heart. To break one's heart. Another verbal expression, for example, she broke my heart with the bad news. She broke my heart with the bad news. And number 11, last one, chilly. Chilly. Adjective. Example, it's chilly outside, wear a sweater. It's chilly outside, wear a sweater. To have been tugging at you. Another idiom. My grandmother died 10 years ago. Thinking about her is emotional for me. I wish I could have been more kind to her. This thought has been tugging at me for a long time. I wish I could have been more kind to her. This thought has been tugging at me for a long time. To set the parameters. Verb. And for this question, we are going to set the parameters of only using Newtonian physics to find our answers. This question, we are going to set the parameters of only using Newtonian physics to find our answer. To catch on. Verb. Afra, you are so smart. You catch on to everything so quickly. In 2 years, I think you are going to be my boss. Afra, you are so smart. You catch on to everything so quickly. To never look back. Verb. To live with no regrets is hard. They always think about the past and what I could have done better. They say that you should never look back. And I guess they're right. So for example, don't worry about things you can't control and are finished. Don't look back with regret. Persistent. Adjective. It's important to be blank. Keep at it. If at first you don't succeed, try it again. So what word form do we use? Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. Answer, yes. It's the adjective form persistent. And can we think of any other word forms? That's right. We have persistently, adverb, the verb persist, and the noun persistence. Persistence. To be set in one's ways. To be set in one's ways. Another idiom. You've got to be flexible. Change is constant. If you are set in your ways, then you won't adapt and evolve like you should. So you've got to change and be flexible because change is constant. And if you are set in your ways, then you won't adapt and evolve like you should. So again, for example, old people are quite set in their ways and find it hard to change their behavior. Old people are quite set in their ways and find it hard to change their behavior. Put up with. Put up with. I don't know how Edelmira put up with. I don't know how Edelmira put up with her horrible neighbors. They are so noisy. They have no respect. Edelmira is even nice to her horrible neighbors. I don't understand how she can tolerate their rude behavior. So put up with. Don't know how Edelmira put up with her neighbors. To lose it. Verb. Don't be so angry. Calm down. Don't blank. Count to 20 and take deep breaths. It'll be better. Again, don't be so, it'll be all right. Don't be so angry. Calm down. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Ordeal. Noun. My parents died in a car accident in January. My brothers just lost their jobs. My sister is in the hospital. This year has been such an ordeal. This year has been such an ordeal. To break one's heart. To break one's heart. My ex-fiance married another guy and never broke up with me. At the time, that really broke my heart. Now I feel lucky. Talk about a bad marriage. Again, this was written by another teacher, not the presenter. This slide was all written by another teacher and not the presenter. So again, at that time, that really broke my heart. 50. Chilly. Adjective. The weather is blank outside. Bring a sweater with you and be back in an hour. Again, the weather is blank outside. What's the answer? That's right, chilly. The weather is chilly outside. Bring a sweater with you and be back in an hour. Is there another adjectival form of chilly? That's right, we can change chilly to chilled. Chilled. This brings us to the last part of the presentation. You are now going to listen. Get out a piece of paper. Please get out a piece of paper and a pencil. So if you haven't got a pen or pencil, and a piece of paper at hand, please pause the video now and go get that, because you're going to listen and we'll do a little bit of practice of the vocab. So please pause the video now to get a pencil and a piece of paper. Okay, so you should have unpaused the video and you now have a pencil, pen, and a piece of paper. So how will this work? You're going to listen to the teacher and write the number of the word you hear. So for example, if I say number 7, disparate, number 7, disparate, then you would write 7B. Another example, if I said punctuality, I said number 3, punctuality. Well, you would see that A is prudent, so it's not A. See that C is presumption, that means it must be B, 3B, punctuality, so you write down 3B. So without further ado, let's start. I will say each word 2 times, only 2 times. So please listen carefully. And only 2 times because, as you know on your unit tests, you only get to listen 2 times. So number 1, conscientious, conscientious. Number 2, persistent, persistent. Number 3, presumption, presumption. Number 4, overwhelmed, overwhelmed. Number 5, fascinate, fascinate. Number 6, thrive, thrive. Number 7, delve into, delve into. Number 8, impulsive, impulsive. Number 9, ordeal, ordeal. Number 10, light a fire, light a fire. Okay, so you should have now finished. If you haven't, you can obviously play back the video to have listen one more time. If you have finished and you're confident in your answers, let's go over them right now. The answer for number 1 is 1C. 1C, conscientious. 1C, conscientious. Number 2, 2A. 2A, persistent. Persistent. Number 3, 3C. 3C, presumption. Presumption. Number 4, 4A. 4A, overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. Number 5, 5B. 5B, fascinate. Fascinate. Number 6, 6A, thrive, thrive. Number 7, 7C, 7C, delve into, delve into. Number 8, 8B, 8B, impulsive, impulsive. Number 9, 9A, 9A, ordeal, ordeal. Number 10, 10A, 10A, light a fire, light a fire. Okay, that brings us to the end of Book 6, Unit 5, Vocabulary Presentation Part 2. I hope you found this two-part series to be valuable in your efforts to learn the vocabulary and the various word forms. I wish you luck with the rest of the quarter, and I'll catch you in the next vocab series. Thank you very much, and have a good day.